One more thing. See, you might be thinking always like, do I need a depth knowledge of the subject? All that. Generally in FR or AFM, whatever you're reading, no. First objective primarily we think of qualifying exam. That is the biggest mistake we do in our life. That prevent us to get big opportunities. Later we never get that exposure. Definitely we never get that exposure. But of course, I also maintain a balance in such a way that I don't go too deep into the subject. At the same time, I'll not leave it. I maintain what is required. Within the same time, I try to convey the best possible manner, the contextual meaning. I have a friend who is very good in IFRS. Like he studied in final the accounting standards so extensively. Very good understanding of the accounting standard. Then later when he came into teaching, then accounting and all is teaching, all that is fine. He frequently attends interviews and he frequently reads Indies. Whenever it comes, something comes, he just understands briefly what is there in the Indies, all that. Now, like, very recently some Epic, there is an institute, there is a company called like Morgan Stanley, Apex, there are investment banking companies. So he attended for just casual interviews. And the other persons were shocked about the kind of knowledge and command he has. And he demands the price. Don't say you want to give the job, sir. I don't need it. And they run behind him. No, you please come, take 70 lakhs, take 80 lakhs. That's the kind of package he gets. See, in job, no, that is a very good amount. Job, that's a very good amount. Business is a different thing. Business now, it's okay. But in job, getting that amount, that too for a CA, without rank, nothing, purely based on the merit, knowledge that you have. If you're having such a comprehensive understanding, see, for initial interviews, no, interviewer himself, many of them will not have this comprehensive understanding of how entire frameworks globally, how they are connected. They also don't understand. But for scaling up in a very big role, more than executional FIR, you must have how entire things work. How entire things work. Like what the kind of work he solves is what, like some, this particular, this particular company which is there in India would have purchased a machinery outside India and imported it into India. And that machinery was not directly purchased. That machinery was purchased by a subsidiary outside India from another third party. Now, how that entire thing has to be accounted in books of accounts as per Ind AS. And he should also advise a parallel accounting treatment to the branch, foreign branch, how they should account it as per European or whatever, IFRS. No. You can understand IFRS, you can understand other countries' accounting treatment, and only if you understand Indian accounting treatments first, Indian auditing practices first, you can understand the others. For mediocre jobs, you don't require this intelligence. You want to do a high-level jobs, high-level advisory works, you require this intelligence. So if you always think, if I pass exam, that's enough, later I can learn, it's impossible. I have this expertise because I'm teaching you, not because I qualified. If at all I went into some job now, I would have not, definitely I will not be having this much knowledge and expertise. Because I'm reading, and when I'm reading, naturally I get it out. I can't, the one good habit for me I have is, whatever I do, I always read why like this, why like this. And it won't take much amount of time for me to research also. Instantly I can understand the logics. The only reason is the kind of learning process I adapted in the past 10 years. Now, you show me one provision in income tax. You show me one provision. The way I look at that provision is completely different. And I remember more than 6 months for sure. One time I'll read, I remember. You give me 1.5 days or 2 days time before audit exam. I read this entire subject. Again, like if you ask me, sir, can you go now and write exam and get 90 marks in audit? Obviously not. I cannot do that. Because my duty is to explain, not to remember the content. But if you give me 2 days time, and if you conduct exam day after tomorrow, for example, or 2 days later, then these 2 days I will do an intense revision. I will do an intense revision where I can damn sure secure exemption. Because it depends on the paper evaluation also. And he is ignorant. Correct? So that's it. So the level of the way you prepare for writing exam, that intensity is different. Learning intensity is different. Exam intensity is even more higher than learning intensity. Because you need to write, no. So when you're reading any subject, it hardly takes extra 10-20 hours to get a contextual understanding of whatever you're reading. And that contextual understanding will reflect in the way you are attending interview, the way you reply, the answers you reply, the choice of words you choose. Everything changes. That's the difference between a person having a very good subject command and a person who do not have any command on. Both of them can secure jobs, but it affects their growth. When you're presenting, suppose if you're presenting something tomorrow, you have the content, that knowledge, the way you present is altogether different. If you don't have that grip on the particular context or content, you cannot present it well. That's why always a good reader can be a good leader. A good speaker can be a good leader. So for anything in life, ultimatum is communication. How you are communicating your ideas perfectly. And the entire base, foundation for communication is how much clarity you have in what you're reading. The better the clarity, the better you can communicate. The weaker the clarity, the weakest you communicate. So communication is directly dependent upon the clarity. It's not about English. My English is worst, obviously. Technically, you can find many grammatical mistakes if you keenly observe. Telugu medium student. And I never attended any formal English training classes and all. So obviously, you will find so many mistakes. But the skill which I have is the punctuations which I use, the pitch variations I use, the diction I have. That is what that skill which I have. And with that itself only I'm making the subject interesting, probably. So something like this you must identify within you. You will have a higher, like some of you might speak a very good fluent language. Added to it, if your expression is also super, the way you're expressing is also super, deadly combination. Getting it? You see, most of the Indian speakers are acclaimed worldwide. Sundar Pichai, Google, you see. His English, the way he speaks, it's not about language. The articulation is so like people sit and listen hours to Sundar Pichai. So such a powerful speaker. Indian accent is very powerful, which will be accepted by world anywhere. We try to imitate foreign accent. Foreign accent is boring. In the countries outside India, like any of our Indian native speakers, especially if they go and give a speech, people listen carefully because our accent is so powerful. People fail to recognize that. Our accent is completely expression oriented. Foreign, many outside countries, their accent is purely words oriented, not expression oriented. They are very good at expression. Many are weak at expression outside. So that is a very core advantage that we have. So try to improvise that skill. Attend interviews, give answers in such a way that he'll shock. What is this kind of knowledge he has? That should be the reaction of the interviewer. Something he told, okay, mediocre answer. No, give extraordinary answers. Clear. And when you're attending interview, one most important quality, you don't say that I'm interested in, you can say that I'm interested in that particular work. But at the same time, be ready to accept any work, whatever they're ready to allocate. Any work it is. Don't say, I don't like this work, I don't like that work. Remember, he's a patient, you're a doctor. Yes or no? You cannot say, I will treat only this one. You're a general doctor at the beginning. You're not an MD specialist. You become specialist later. Company is a patient which is calling for you. Why are they calling you? Because they need some service of you. Okay. If you are openly telling them, I'm okay with any service, they will impress. They'll be impressed with your whatever it is. No, I only like tax matters. I only like audit. I only like accounts. If you are reserved like this, beginning itself is reserved like this. So how come he'll be adaptable? And you will say in interview, I am flexible enough. You copy paste. I am dynamic, flexible, quick learner, all that points you put, and the answers you give are contradicting with your statements. Getting it? So any work that comes for you in life, accept it. Initially. Work on it 1-2 years. Every work has its own expertise, its own growth. Just that you must tap the right points in order to grow in that. So whatever is necessary in that field, you give your best in that. And in all the fields, the common requirement is effective communication. The better you communicate, the effectively you communicate, the better you grow in the corporate ladder or anywhere. Fine. So we'll continue on the next question.